Hello and good morning. I am in Colorado still, but I'm getting ready to go back to Germany, so I'm super excited. Super early in the morning here, but I wanted to do this video because this is a topic that comes up a lot. And unfortunately, in the equestrian space, there's a lot of misconceptions about this topic. And that's why I wanted to cover it. And today's topic is how to get your horse on the bit. Okay. And before I tell you the how, first, let's talk about the why. So what is on the bit? Why do we do it? And then how do we do it? So what is on the bit? Now, on the bit can be termed a whole lot of different ways. It could be on the vertical, whatever it is that you want to call it. But basically, what on the bit means is when the horse has, it's supposed to be when the horse has contact with the rider, with the reins, okay? But a lot of people think that on the bit means that the horse's head has to be, they call it on the vertical as well because the horse's head has to be vertical and that they should be bent at the poll and not at the, third vertebrae or blah, all this kind of stuff. So there's a whole science behind it, obviously. And basically what it boils down to is collection. Okay, collection. That's what we want. We want collection. But a lot of people, they use these terms on the bit and on the vertical, assuming that collection has something to do with the head. Which is actually one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to riding. And so that is why I really wanted to dive into this topic today, because that's just not true. And something has to be done about it. Okay. Like this has to stop. Now, when I was young, when I was 15, 16, I got this horse who was, let's say, difficult. Okay, he was difficult. He had a bad past, and he was actually very dangerous. I've worked thousands of horses in my career, 5 different continents, over 20 different countries. I've met 3 horses in my entire life I would consider to be actually dangerous. He was one of them. And I remember, I'm 15, 16, I don't know a whole lot, but I was a pretty decent rider. Like I could stick to the saddle and I was jumping and I was doing all these things that kids do. And when I got this horse, it was kind of a reality check. I was sort of woken up to what the reality of horse riding is. And I remember I had a coach who wasn't a very good coach. I can say that now that I'm an actual certified coach myself. But at the time I was 15, 16, I didn't know any better. And she told me, get this horse on the bit. And how to do that was to, and tell me if you've heard this before, seesaw the reins, seesaw the reins. Now the logic behind that is if you seesaw the reins, it's kind of playing with the horse's mouth. And if they want to move away from that pressure, then they have to tuck. Yeah, they have to come down. But that doesn't work. Okay, that's kind of, again, sort of forcing your horse into it. That's not very pleasant for them. It's not very comfortable. And usually what happens if you're seesawing the reins, they actually go too far and they go behind the bit because they're now avoiding your hands. So if you're seesawing or using some other technique like that, you're actually kind of teaching the horse not to have contact with you. Okay, they want to avoid your hands because your reins and your hands, it should be something pleasant for the horse. They should be seeking that contact. So if somebody told you to, seesaw, that's totally incorrect. Please never, ever, ever do that. So how do we get our horse on the bit step by step? And this is going to blow some of your minds because it's absolutely not what other people are telling you to do. In order to get your horse on the bit, you need, I was pausing for dramatic effect. You need to stop focusing on their head. Okay, period. You need to stop focusing on the horse's head because actually collection comes from behind. It comes from the engine. Okay, it comes from their hindquarters. It doesn't come from their head. The head is kind of the last thing, the last part of the equation that follows. So what I want to say is if you are at that stage where your horse is ready, where they're fit, you've been going up the training tree or the training scale, and they're ready for collection, they're ready to start coming onto the bit, then what you are going to do, okay, you can keep watching this video. Everyone else, if you're not at that stage, turn off this video because this doesn't apply to you. Okay, you need to start working on the engine. You need to start working on getting your horse to sit Okay, sit on their hindquarters, sit on their haunches. That's what you need to do. The head's going to follow. If you're at that stage where your horse is sitting and they are starting to sort of collect, okay, and they're starting to round themselves on their own, then what you need to do is you need to encourage your horse to seek your contact, okay? Seek your hands. So, in that example I just gave, if you're that person that's seesawing, you're irritating your horse, they don't want to find the contact, okay? So if you've been guilty of doing that, then it's no wonder that they're avoiding you any way they can. Head comes up, head comes down, head comes too far down. Maybe they're tossing, they're shaking. So first you need to read what your horse is already doing, okay? Are they avoiding your contact? Are they irritated when you go to take the contact? Okay, because if so, then you need to start working on getting them to actually enjoy that contact and start searching for it. Okay, and by that I mean they have to actively come to you. You cannot just shorten your reins really, really tight and then force them. Okay, because that's not a partnership, that's not a relationship. So you need to have the horse actively seek you. Okay, and a lot of you are going to be wondering, like, well, how do I do that? Like, the seesawing is just quicker, or, whatever, like, Band-Aid thing it is you want to do. Like, oh, I'll just put draw reins on, or, oh, I'll just put some gadget on my horse and that will make them on the bit. No, because again, you can't, that's kind of forcing the horse into it, but they're not actually enjoying the contact. They're not searching for your hands. So as soon as you take those gadgets off, it's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to work, period. So that's not a solution, and that's not something that I want you to do. Now, hopefully this has been helpful for a lot of you guys. I do want to say, there are several resources that I have in order to guide you through these riding lessons to get that contact. And one of them, which I'm going to suggest, and there's a link in the description down below or up above, wherever you're watching this from, is actually the guided audio riding lessons that I give. Okay, so if you are having this issue where your horse is kind of avoiding your contact, then there's a couple of exercises in the guided audio riding lessons, which are going to help. Okay, I'm not going to say like, oh, you'll be instantly collected tomorrow, because that takes time. Okay, depending on where you are in your training with your horse and on their fitness, that takes time. But there are several exercises. For example, we have several, I call them the perfect warm-up. Okay, those are going to help getting your horse to sit. So if you're that person that your horse is not actually developed in their back yet, there's several exercises, even pole work exercises, to help them to get to shift their weight back here. Okay, because that's step one. You can't start fussing with their head if you don't have step one. And then step two, once you are ready for that next step, once your horse is starting to sit, that's when you can start doing different exercises to start getting that horse to seek your contact. Okay, seek your hands. And it's going to take time for you. If you're that person that's been seesawing, or you ride a little bit strong, you see it a lot. I've seen a lot of ladies who are trained by male coaches, and men are usually upper body dominated. Women are usually lower leg dominated. And a lot of women I've seen who had male coaches, they start riding like little pit bulls. Their elbows come out and they're kind of wrestling their horse a little bit. Okay. Now, of course, not all men. There's a lot of men that have soft hands, but in a lot of the male-dominated countries I've been to, you see it a lot. Okay, it's not about wrestling the horse into on the bit or on the vertical. Okay, it's about that. It's actually a game of how soft can you be? How soft can you be? And how soft and how quiet can you be with your hands? If you just wiggle your finger and then they go there. Okay, so it's kind of a game to see how soft you can be, how soft you can get your horse to be. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how quickly they pick it up, because when they enjoy it, when they enjoy your contact and they understand that they're more balanced that way, then it just goes so much easier. So definitely click on the guided audio riding lessons if that's something that you are working on. You can have a 7-day free trial, so go try the riding lessons. You just listen to it on your phone. It's a lot of fun. And that is definitely something that I would suggest for you. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this topic, or if you have any other topics that you would like me to discuss. I always love hearing from you guys. I get a lot of emails and a lot of nice messages from you guys. So yeah, that's my motivation to keep making these videos. So yeah, you have to let me know though what you want me to blab about. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're just joining me live now, again, let me know in the chat, in the comments, what topic it is that you would like or what questions you have. So thank you guys, and I will see you next week.